Hello, Denise here with Dolphin Delight Designs. I thought I would show you today a little demonstration on the texture molds and using heavy body acrylic paint. So I've showed you before that we can use resin on these very thin texture type molds, but you can also use, other substrates, gel medium, clay, things like that. So what I'm using today is just a heavy texture acrylic. This particular one's made by Gaffery in gold. It's a really pretty color. And basically all you're going to do is spread it in the mold. So just put a glob on there. And we want to get it into the mold, into the grooves. You can use any number of tools. This is a popular one. It's a silicone spreader. I don't know what the technical term for it is, but this part is made of silicone. A lot of people use it in their stencils to put the paste through the stencil. You can use a type of spatula. There's these two different kinds. You could use a credit card. Basically anything that you have that's flat so that you can go across it. You want something that's going to have a little bit of a wideness to it so that you can, get it across. You don't want to use a little thin or a small spatula thing. You want to use, a little bit wider one. And we're just going to take, and right now you just want to be concerned with pushing it down into the mold, because you want to get it into all these little grooves here and make sure that it gets down in there. And just go through and just keep spreading it in there. I'm just using another tool to kind of scrape off my excess. And once you're pretty sure that you've got it really down good into all the little grooves and nooks and crannies, I think we got it pretty good here. So looks like it's pretty down in there pretty well. So what you don't want to do, so this isn't a stencil, okay? In a stencil you're pushing it through and your goal would be to look like this when you're done, right? Because you just want the substrate on the product, on the canvas, and you don't want all the little lines filled in. But that's not what we're doing here. We're filling, almost like filling a mold. So you're going to take your excess off, and then you're going to just start gently kind of moving it across, because you want to build up a layer. And something that I'm going to try on this time, because I did notice that the last time I did one of these, it was really hard to get it started, to get it pulling out of the mold. So this time I'm going to try something a little different. I thought what I would do this time is take a little bit of painter's tape and put it on one end of the mold. Just wipe that off there. And this is just going to give me right here on the edge, so I don't want it to go in, into the mold, but just right here on the edge will hopefully give me kind of a starting point when this is dried to be able to start pulling it. Okay. So now we're going to finish just kind of filling it in. And we're going to need more paint for that. I actually like to use the spatulas for this part. For me, the silicone's really nice for getting it into the grooves, but then I like the spatula for kind of leveling it out. Just seems to be easier. And what you want to do is you want to get that whole area covered. So that it's kind of just a layer. Doesn't have to be a super thick layer, but you want it layered on the top. You don't want it poking through here, you know. Put it up a little closer so you can see what I'm talking about. You don't want that showing through. You want to make sure that's covered really well. So I might want a little bit more paint. Pull some from the edge here a little bit too. Doesn't have to be super flat and smooth on this side because this is your, you know, when you pull it out, this is going to be your back. But you do want it pretty smooth. You know, you don't want it all lumpy when you're pulling it off, depending on what you're going to use it for. So I just take my time with it, get it smoothed out. That looks pretty good. So you can see that, you know, the edges are covered up. Okay? And then you just put that off to the side and let it dry. I usually leave mine to dry overnight, to be honest with you. I've never tried to do it any sooner than that. But basically it's just however long it takes the paint to dry. So in preparation of this, I'm going to go ahead and move this off the screen right now. Or let's just move it over here. Just move that off to the side. I went ahead and making a big old mess with this paint here. I did one ahead of time. So you can see with this paint is so pretty, what it looks like when it's dry. So you just want to start working it. And this is what I was talking about, where I'm hoping this will help, this little piece of tape, because it's a painter's tape. It doesn't stick to the silicone, but I'm hoping it's going to give us kind of a starting point here, because it can be really hard to get underneath when you have this all the way to the edge, to get it kind of started there on that edge. So I'm hoping that this will give us a little bit of a running jump. And it looks like it might just work. And so you want to take your time, because you know, you don't want to rip your paint, because it is, after all, just paint. It's pretty durable, but it's still just a thin coat of paint, so it can tear. And unless that's what you want it to do, you just want to kind of get it out of your mold. But once you get it started, it comes out pretty easily. And just keep working it and peeling it. Now I'll preface to say that this was a conditioned mold. I'd already used it. It wasn't brand new out of the box. Sometimes that helps if you've used it at least once already on something. At least for me. I don't know if it's scientific or not, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So, and then this will just come right off. Doesn't even take paint with it when it comes off. And there you go. You have this nice, flexible, piece. And mixed media rule number 1, always have baby wipes near. Don't do what I did and forget to have your baby wipes near you when you're filming. And then you won't get paint everywhere like I did. So when it's like this, you can put it on anything. You can wrap it around a cup, you know, if you wanted to put it around a cup. You can put it in a journal. You can tear it, you know. It'll tear. You can also get some scissors and cut, like if you wanted to cut out a design, you could cut out the design. That's pretty cool. All right. I hope that was informative. Stay tuned for more tutorials. Thank you.